Okay, so this is lesson 5. This is to reason and problem solve about length. So you're going to be thinking about if you measure things, whether they're bigger than a metre. Think about that metre stick again that your teacher, that me or Mrs. Tomlinson will have at the front of the class. So things that you're measuring, if you're in class or at home, whether they're smaller than a metre or bigger than a metre. So that's going to be your follow-up learning. Let's work through some of these problems together. So it says here, always, sometimes, or never. So here, millimetre lengths, remember those tiny ones, 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre, are smaller than centimetre lengths. So is that true always, sometimes, or never? Have a little think. Possible answer. So sometimes, for example, 1 millimetre, a tiny one, one of the little, is smaller than 1 centimetre because 1 centimetre's got 10 millimetres in it. But 70 millimetres, which would be 7 centimetres, is larger than 3 centimetres. Okay, so we're going to look at some of these measurements below, and we're going to say, are they longer than a metre, which is 100 centimetres, or shorter than a metre, so shorter than less than 100 centimetres. So let's have a little look. So we've got here 1 metre, 65 centimetres. We've got 165 metres. We've got 16 centimetres and 5 millimetres, 165 millimetres, 165 centimetres, and 1 centimetre and 65 millimetres. Okay, so we need to think about which ones. They've got to be 100 or more to be larger, or more than 100 centimetres to be longer than a metre. Okay, so let's have a little look. So we've got here, we know this first one, it says it's 1 metre, and 65 centimetres. So we know it's already telling us it's longer than a metre because it's got 1 metre and 65 centimetres. So that, if I get my pen, would go into here. 1 metre and 65 centimetres. Okay, we've done that. We've done that one. We know that that one is bigger, longer than a metre. Okay, now this one is 165 metres. So not 1 metre, not 2 metres, not 10 metres, not 20 metres or 50 metres, but 165 metres. Do you think that's longer than 1 metre? I think it is, don't you? So we know then, so 165 metres goes into this side of the table because it's longer than 1 metre, than a metre. Okay, so we've got that one done. Okay, number 3 is 16 centimetres and 5 millimetres. So 16 centimetres. Think about how many centimetres in 1 metre. I hope you're all shouting. So how many centimetres are there in 1 metre? There are 100. Here we've only got 16 centimetres. So is that smaller than 100? Is that longer than 100 or shorter than a metre, which is 100? So 16 is smaller, isn't it, than 100? So that would be shorter than a metre. So we would put in 16 centimetres you can be looking at your ruler here and finding 16 centimetres, and then those little ones, those 5 tiny little millimetres. I don't think Mrs. Corcoran's writing with this pen is getting much better. Okay, so we've done that one. We're doing well here, boys and girls, organising these. Okay, let's get on to this part now. So we've got here 165 millimetres. Okay, so remember, there are 10, get my pen to work, there are 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre. Okay, so that's 10. Now we've got 165 millimetres. So 10 is 1 centimetre, 20 is 2 centimetres, 30 is 3 centimetres, 40 is 4 centimetres, 50 is 5 centimetres. So it's going up. You can see that pattern. You're adding on with it. 5 centimetres is 50. Okay, so 100 millimetres would be 10 centimetres, and 165 would be 16.5 centimetres. So 16.5. This works out at 16.5. So is 16.5 longer than a metre or shorter than a metre? We know a metre is 100, and this is only 16, we said, didn't we? 16.5 centimetres. So is that smaller than 100 or bigger than 100? It's smaller, so we're going to put 165 millimetres into shorter than a metre. We know that is because we've just worked that out. So we can tick that one. And then let's move on to our next one. So here now we have got 100. I'm going to do this one now. This is our number 5. Is 165 centimetres. So not the tiny millimetres, but the centimetres. Okay, so 165 centimetres. How many centimetres in a metre? 100. And we've got 165. So is this shorter than a metre or longer than a metre? It is longer, isn't it? Because we know that 100 centimetres is a metre, and we've got 165 centimetres. Sorry, that looks like an S again, boys and girls. So that goes into longer than a metre. We can give that one a tick. And then finally, our last one is 1 centimetre and 65 millimetres. So again, if you've got your ruler in front of you, 1 centimetre is, when you're going, you've got 10 millimetres in 1 centimetre, and then you've got 65 millimetres. Well, remember, there's 10 millimetres in each centimetre, so we've got 65 millimetres, we've got 6.5 centimetres there. So altogether, we've got 7.5 centimetres. Now, we know this now. How many centimetres are there in a metre? 100. I can hear you from here. 100 in a metre, and we've only got 7.5. So is that longer than a metre or shorter than a metre? It is shorter than a metre. So 1 centimetre and 65 millimetres goes into shorter than a metre, that side of our table. Okay, so boys and girls, your follow-up now is going to be, either in class or if you're at home, is to use your ruler. But remember, a metre stick is bigger than 3 times your ruler. If your ruler is a 30 centimetre ruler, remember 100 centimetres, so you're going to find things around your house or the classroom that are shorter than a metre or longer than a metre, and then you can fill in the grid that I've uploaded onto Purple Mash for you. Okay, good luck and enjoy.